day 137 and my last day on the UK island, Isle of Wight. Very sad, leaving soon. Then I'm gonna be 2 days in London. Yeah, I uploaded yesterday 2 shorts just because I remembered what I want to talk about. So you can check it out, or I'm gonna tell it to you again. Because most of the time, what the biggest problem for most of the people is not nutrition, it's boredom. And I realized that also being here on holiday, of course we tend to be bored at some point. And usually what would I do before Carnivore? I would just sit in some restaurants, read a book, eat, snack, have drinks, do these kind of things. But what do you do actually when you don't sit in restaurants, don't eat, don't snack in front of a TV when you're bored, and these kind of things when you maybe don't know people, or your friends are not there, or your job is too easy maybe, or just too time consuming that when you come home you just don't want to do anything else besides maybe Netflix or YouTube things and just sit around. And me watching Secret Eaters, I love this show. Recommend everybody really to look even one episode of Secret Eaters on YouTube. It's amazing because then you see that most of the people are snacking a lot or are bored a lot and sitting in front of the TV. And it's not about laziness, it's really about what do you do with your time. So if you are lucky or are in a position that you're physically able to do a lot of sport, people tend to walk more, go to the gym and do these things. So that's kind of killing the boredom. But if you're physically maybe not able to, and you are already in this kind of circle that you're obese and you can't even move or get up, or like health issues that I had or have with my MS, that sometimes I just can't move. So I just can't get up. I can't, spend time doing anything. I can't even go out with my friends or something. So what do you do then? You're really bored at home, and even if you're reading or watching something, it's still, I told about that in the beginning. I talked about it. Hands boredom. You're used to do something with your hands, snack or drink. And I think this is the most challenging part on everybody's journey, not to have that, and also to get rid of these habits. So the question is, and I would love for you guys also to share your ideas for that, is how to kill that boredom when you can't go out with your friends or do something with your friends, and when you can't do sport, when you really can't get out of your home because maybe the weather is bad or I don't know what do you do then at home? Of course you can be busy by cleaning and decluttering and by, I don't know, painting, writing, doing some clothes, repairing stuff, DIY, all these kind of things. But in the end, is it really enough to get over the boredom you have? So yeah, I think that's something we really should a little bit also figure out, because since Corona, a lot of people are now used to be at home and just are binge watching. As soon as you one time into binge watching or social media in this trap, it's hard to get out, because for hours and hours you just realize, oh, I binge watched a whole series, or I watched so many memes like me yesterday. I was actually good because I didn't use social media the whole day until evening, and in the evening I tried just to look up some funny memes. I was just in the mood for some fun, so that was my kind of entertainment. And yeah, I really think this is the biggest challenge we are facing in the end. And for me, I just realized today what I'm really missing, because I had some degrees from university, because that's the one thing that brings me the most joy, is to learn something and then to have the challenge to have exams and then to have the reward to have a diploma in my hand, a bachelor, master. And that's something that for me personally is something that challenges me, gives me a kind of passion and triggers my motivation. And that's what I'm missing right now. because just to be educated in kind of nutrition, I find it really boring. Really boring. It's not really challenging because the evidence and these kind of things are just not, in my opinion, possible to get with nutrition, because it depends on so many factors, and that's a lot. Also, there are some smart carnivores out there who also point this out. I can tell you from my own experience what I'm talking about. I'm a part of studies because I have MS. So I can tell you from my own experience how these studies work, and also doing own studies for my master and bachelor I made, just to how it's been created and how they're doing it. That's why I don't have any faith in that, because I see it live, I did it live, and I know how it works, and it doesn't make sense. This whole studies just doesn't make sense. So all the things that we are basing our nutritional knowledge is based on bullshit. It's really on bullshit. And that's what I said. Watch one episode of Secret Eaters, then you know exactly what I mean. And maybe I will do kind of a reaction to that one day, because that's so, it will blow your mind. Because what are studies about? They are giving me questions about how I eat, what I do, how is my sport, how was the last 3 years. I have no clue. Whilst I'm watching, something on TV, after the advertisement, I forget what I was watching in the first place. How the hell should I remember what I did 3 years ago? Oh, hell no. I'm just guessing. And most of the time I'm completely wrong. The same thing happens when you do a food diary the next day. Most of the things you just forget, especially when you're snacking on things. You do it not with a conscience. Conscience? I don't know the English word. But you are just doing it without even thinking about it. So you will forget what you're snacking on. Or whilst you're cooking for your kids or your husband or your wife or whatever, you may snack on their things without even realizing it. And you're then eating something completely different. And that's the problem with most of the studies, because they are based on people remembering what they're doing, people being honest. And it's not about their lying. And that's why I say, watch Secret Eaters. They're really, after seeing that on camera, what they're eating, you will see it in their face. They didn't lie before what they're eating. They didn't. They just didn't realize it. They are so surprised, so shocked when they see what they're actually doing and how they're sitting on the couch and what they're eating and how much they're eating. And that's exactly why these studies are such bullshitting with this questionnaire. Because even if they're coming to the doctor's appointments, which is in my case with the MS, I'm coming to a doctor's appointment and I'm being there, I've been asked just questions. And they have, just to believe me what I'm saying. But most of the time, I forgot most of the stuff. I really forgot most of the symptoms I had. After I go home, a couple of days later, I remind myself of the question. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about to tell him this and that. So that's one thing. Then they're based also the studies, especially with the MS part, with the tests, like how fast can I walk. And that's one of the biggest bullshitting things ever in neurologic perspective, because I do have 2 disc prolapse. And they are affecting my abilities of walking as well as the MS. So sometimes if I'm just laying in a wrong bed, like here in the UK, really my hands and my legs are also struggling. That can be still a sign of an MS, but it can also be because of my disc prolapse, and it's just being activated, or me standing a lot on festival, really, that hurted my hands so bad. So that's the problem. They don't consider that. They don't even talk about the disc prolapse. They're just looking at the lesions I'm having, and which is a factor of the MS. So that's why everything about nutrition and how the body works and what's happening in your body is based on these kind of, it's just bullshit. I'm sorry, it is. There are a lot of studies who, look up different things. Dr. Haberman is a better example, because they look into the brain functions in Stanford, and they look what the brain is doing while they're experiencing some stuff, or what the heart is doing when they're put into stress, and how to regulate these kind of things. So you see it in the pictures, what's actually happening in the body. So these kind of things, experiments, are are of course there and much better. But like studies, they're just, it's impossible to look at the big picture. And also they never ask me about my, or they ask about the stress level, but maybe this day I didn't have a stress level, or I think I'm doing sport in moderation, but actually if you compare me to another person who also says I'm doing it in moderation, I may be doing 4 times more or 4 times less than them. So it's just my own perspective, which is put into these questions. They are telling me and asking me and testing me, but they don't see the whole big picture. That's for me why all these kind of everything that's based on medicine is really boring. It really is, because there is just no real evidence here you can base it on. And it is like, even if you have twins, identical twins, and separate them and give them two different kind of, one vegan, one like Carnivore. There was I think it was a Netflix show, but it wasn't vegan and carnivore, which is a very pity. The one was vegan and I think the other one was healthy version with meat. I can't remember, maybe some of you can and say it in the comments. But even this is not enough, because both of them can have different kind of physical activities, different kind of stress, different kind of emotional disbalance, hormonal things that are happening in a body. It doesn't mean that they are developing the same, things. And even if they're at home, maybe the one particular home then has mold and affects them. So how can you compare even these kind of things? It's impossible. It's just impossible. And also for me, being in IT, knowing how medicine develops, they are basically need most of the time good technology, like better MRIs, machines who are doing better pictures of the inside of a body, or real-time, lifetime things. And it's as much as the IT develops, especially in the AI, because I work in a AI based company, which is focused on AI stuff as well. It's hard to tell how much our things that we are gonna find out will develop, and I think we are not even 0.1% there to know what is really happening in a body in the end. And yeah, it might be interesting to find it out, yes, but I think we are just not there yet. I think as soon as the IT part, the technology is there to really make the perfect, clear pictures of our insides and see what's going on and see everything that's happening, even if this is possible at some point, that's going then to be interesting, because then you can see what's happening, compare maybe, and find more out. But until then, it's just guessing. And I see it with the pictures from the MRI in my doctor. It's like little white dots, and they're interpreting what is happening and what is the most likeliest thing that is showed there. So it's a little bit of a I always compare it, MS or autoimmune diseases, with a trash can where you just put everything in, because you don't know if it's something you put in a bin for plastic or paper or whatever. So you put it in one big basket because you have no clue what's happening in the end. So I think that's most of the differential diagnosis what's happening, because people just don't know. And this is the most likeliest thing that is happening to you. And when you're lucky, the diagnosis is right. When you're not lucky, you're gonna have to find out what's wrong with you and what will help in the end. So yeah, that's why everything about that is a little bit boring. So I was babbling again. But I don't know, I was really today, and since I'm here, I had time to think, and I'm really bored with life. I'm really bored because I did so many things in life. I did everything that I wanted to do. I reached everything that I wanted to reach, and I'm just really honestly bored. And I have to find something that gives me a little bit of an excitement or challenge, and just to look forward for something and to really spend my time again being inspired and motivated about it. Because as soon as I'm in this stage, I don't even think about food as well, because boredom, as I said, it's one of the biggest killers of every progress, especially that I had personally. So that's why I'm saying that. And since I'm here, I also can tell you, because of the food part, my day contained basically only the ground beef, a little bit of sheep cheese like every day, but and some, like, that much of the cheese that has mold on it. I don't know if you say that in English. And it's that was basically it, and lemon water. And the treats that I made, like the carnivore treats with the ground beef, double cream, and a little bit of 100% cocoa powder. But that was it. And I can show you. You see that? My stomach. It's just gone. And when I came here, I was looking completely different, and I was a little bit more puffy, and my skin wasn't really good. So yeah, you see an immediate effect if you really stick to the amount you're eating, and really to the right things, and less dairy. Yeah, I had milk with my coffee, but very little. Most of the time I just throw it away because the milk here is awful. But you know, I like my coffee with a little bit of milk when I'm hungry, just to resist the urge to eat then shit stuff. And then when you're on a holiday and bored, it's really dangerous not to go and buy something, especially when you're in a new country and you want to experience it. That's also a little bit tough, you know, just being there and seeing stuff you never seen before. You would just want to try it. That's also a little bit of a danger on holidays, I realized. So yeah, I'm soon gonna be picked up, and soon gonna then leave this beautiful island, and I'm so sad. The UK is really a beautiful place, and especially the island here, it's just unbelievable, unbelievable beautiful. And for me personally, I had this epiphany moment that I need to find something that I'm really looking forward to. One of the things that I wanted to do, and that I'm just trying to figure out if I want to invest the time, is to do my PhD. But in the end, it's you need to find a topic that you can obsess for years, and I just don't have a topic that I will obsess for years. That's a little bit of the issue that I have. What is the topic that I would like to really obsess and you know, spend the next couple of years next to my work and my child and everything to do so. Especially me working also for universities, I can tell you these people are really annoying. Professors are really old school annoying. They sometimes don't see the new things happening, the new trends, and they're very old school. So to be confronted with people who have no clue and they should then decide if this is good or bad, it's a little bit, I know that's going to be frustrating at some point, you know. If you're lucky you have a professor. I had professors that are amazing, so inspiring, so on the point, new, but most of the time these people are really, really old school, especially doctors. So that's a little bit of the tough things, I think, that we are facing also with these people who are leading and informing and giving advice in the end. But yeah, I would love to know how you guys are, what you guys do with boredom, and what gives you joy and really fills up your day when you're like, I don't know, just like that. Everything else just started a little bit to be just just that's life. Okay, nice. So I need a little bit of more of inspiring, motivational things happening. So yeah, happy to see you tomorrow, and that's it. See you tomorrow, as always.